What's up, guys? It's Chachi Power here with Rocket Punch Army, and today I have a review for the GETTER Poseidon from Fewture EX models. It seems that every time I do a review for a Fewture model, I am sick. Yeah, so that's what happens when you spend 4 days with no sleep walking around New York City. And yeah, so here he is, guys. Very, very happy to have him come in. I've been waiting, as you know, for this last piece to come in. It was a very difficult figure to save up for, very difficult having to pay almost $500 for each figure as they came in, and they came in quickly. Usually Fewture is known to delay their products so much that you have all the time in the world to save up for them, but these just came out one after the other. Unbelievable. But anyway, here he is, guys. Again, impressive, heavy, lots of die cast. I would say beautiful paint, and overall it is beautiful paint, but this one seems to have, I don't know who got a hold of this on the way out of the factory, but they must have been eating a burger or something. There's literally fingerprints all over this figure, and they do not rub off. Alright, and they're not my fingerprints, because I can see where I leave my fingerprints and where the other ones just stay there. And it continues on throughout the rest of the figure, including under areas that fingers can't get into. So apparently during the assembly process, they were wearing no gloves. And I've seen, this figure is made in China. It's a Japanese company, but the figures are made in China. And I've seen Chinese factory workers wearing the thing over their mouth, wearing rubber gloves or cloth gloves. But for a figure of this price, they can't be bothered. So again, fingerprints all over the place. I will take a nice buff to it, and here there's a bunch of you can see that, I think, with the camera, a bunch of dust under the paint in areas that are most prominent. And the first thing you're going to look at, right on his titties right there, he's got dust particles. Anyway, getting that out of the way, we will move right down to the figure. Beautiful again. I can't stop saying how beautiful it is. To get it to where it is here, all I had to do was install these two boosters, which just snap into these back wing pieces here, and also attach the faceplate. The only other things left to attach, and I want to do it for the video, is this here. You got the little core piece that's going to go in his chest. We're going to go ahead and put that in. And then these three little metals here, which go right down his spine right back here and attach. And they're also made out of metal. Now, because I've already attached the boosters, it might be a little tricky to put the metals on, but I will give it a shot. It actually does come with a pin in case you put them in crooked. It comes with a little hoop with a little wire coming out that allows you to center them better. But I'm going to do my best to get these in there as straight as possible. Alright, so we got one in there. Then we'll pop in the other here. Alright, that's straight enough for the review, I think. And then the very last one down here, which should be easier since there's more space to fiddle with it. Alright, so that's that. And the next thing we are going to do is attach this core piece. Now, I mentioned there were metal parts, and not on the core piece, just on those metals back there. And we are going to lift this up. Alright, and there you will see this, which actually does rotate. I was going to say it probably doesn't rotate. This is like his typhoon gimmick, which the GETTER has. It's really nice that they made this spinning, which would have been sucky if they didn't, but they did. Would have been cool to have some kind of feature where you hit a button and it spins, but that's a little overboard. That's more toyish, I guess. And we get here, and then, not sure how this opens. Oh, there we go. Open it like that, and I just knocked his faceplate off, but that's because I'm knocking right into his teeth. And let's attach this in here. This actually looks really cool the way it's done inside. I don't know if you guys can see the detail, all those looms going on in there. Alright, so we'll go ahead and attach this. And actually, I like the way this is done because you can actually take it out a lot easier than you can on the other ones. Alright, so we'll go ahead, close this back down, close the chest. And by the way, the chest doors are die cast. And now that the faceplate is off, you will see his mouth. Now, it looks kind of dopey. That's what I mentioned in the unboxing. And by the way, if you want to see the box and everything, check out the unboxing I did. But I mentioned in the unboxing there was something silly on his face, and that's what I'm talking about, is this horrid overbite he has. But if you close the mouth, it actually looks normal, but once the mouth is down, it's got overbite. But I guess that's just the design, you know, the engineering that went in for the hinge kind of makes the mouth a little weird. Alright, so we'll go back here and attach that. Alright, and close this down. But before I do that, just wanted you to check out the little details in here, which are really nice. Tank tready looking thing there. Alright, and close this down. Make sure you're not hitting anything like I am, because there's a lot of paint touching, especially here in the shoulders. You want to be careful. Anytime you move these figures, there will be paint touching, like right there. Alright, so you want to be careful any movements you make. Alright, so now I've showed you a little bit of how the inside moves with the Typhoon and the face mask. I'm going to show you the articulation, which has the neck and also the head separate from the neck, as you can see there. You get these shoulder pieces which move. You get the shoulders that come out. They do go forward and back. It's kind of hard to see the mechanism in there, but there is a lot of multi-point articulation points there, and some piston detail, which I thought was really nice. And of course, you do hear the ratchets, right? And you got the swivel here, and then aside from the red piece swiveling, you also get this independent piece that spins there. You have elbows on a ratchet, and they are double jointed, although the second joint just has one ratchet. Well, it's not really a ratchet, it's just, yeah, it's friction right there on the top, and then the bottom section of the elbow is ratchet. And then of course the wrist. Alright, then you have the top red part here that moves. I'm not going to go crazy moving it, since there's a lot of metal die cast parts that touch. Then you got the silver piece underneath. You have the actual waist at the bottom. Then the hips here, very strong ratchets there. Legs go forward. Again, be careful so you don't hit any metal to metal parts there. You get the swivel right here. And it's really cool because it's a very precise joint here. There's really no space, but it spins really nicely on there. Then you also get the knee here. Alright, and it kind of looks like there might be, maybe not, just that joint there. It almost feels like it moves a little bit more, but I think it's just the play in there. But there's a knee. And one of the coolest features here is the feet, because you'll see that it's got working pistons, ratchet back and forth. You get this kind of movement here, but definitely love the pistons. And then of course the heel and the toe are separate, so you can always move those independently of each other. And then the very last bit would be just to open up these panels, and he's got titty missiles going on, which is really cool. And it does feel like these panels here are made out of metal. The casting, it doesn't look like molded plastic, it looks like an actual casting. It's kind of hard to tell with the heat lamps on, but I wish you guys could see the horrible paint. I'm definitely going to buff that out with some automotive compound, so it should look beautiful. I'm going to be doing the work that the factory worker should have done. But yeah, so there we are. Next thing I want to show you is the getter machine, which is what this section, the yellow section, would transform into. So there are 3 separate ships that combine into a robot that there's 3 different combinations of those 3 ships. So each getter is a version of those 3 ships combining. So here it is, and nice die cast piece except for the boosters here. Everything here, the yellow, is die cast. It feels like the wings are, maybe, yeah, die cast also the wings, except the head piece here. So nicely done. Again, paint issues. It looks like someone just took a Gundam marker, which I could have done myself, probably a better job than they did. A lot of, walking off the panel lines there. Next thing we're going to show you is the optional leg pieces. But even before that, I want to show you these guys, the optional hands, which are just open hands, and they are articulated, just not all the joints, just the knuckle pieces here, but very slight movement, nothing to write home about. Same thing with the thumb, just a little wiggle there. Same thing with the other hand. So you got those two optional hands should you choose to use them. Now the reason I have the focus on his legs, and I am sorry that I am breathing heavy. I am not doing anything besides a review here, but I am getting sick. I can't breathe. Let's see, I want to show you these tank treads here, and this is where the beauty of what Fewture can do shines. Alright, so putting all other complaints aside, these screws here seem to be actual screws. Okay, so they're nice and plated, they're not painted and detailed with a marker as they would detail all these other details here. It's actual screws. You get the nice blue paint that matches the rest of the figure here. You get the same piston effect right in the front, and also a thicker piston right in the back, and of course ratchets, you heard that, and of course rolling tank treads. Alright, hopefully by looking at this, it might be not the type of rubber that disintegrates. I really hope it does not disintegrate. That would suck because these things look badass. Alright, and a couple of people already complained that these little plugs are falling out, so you want to be careful that these plugs don't fall out. It looks like they are there for a detail. They got a little line going through them, but there's probably screws underneath. Yeah, so to attach these, and this is one thing, and you know, people aren't going to play with these like toys, but so you're not necessarily going to be swapping constantly, but it's just pegged in, and you'll see the paint starts rubbing off. Right there, you'll see the paint is rubbing off, so the pegs will eventually become smaller than the hole from the constant tabbing. And the worst part is, since these pegs are plastic, right, and this is metal, the metal will start wearing this down very quickly, so you're only going to be good for a few swaps. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in here, right, so you can get the effect of the tank tread. I'm not going to do both because I'm not going to leave it in the tank tread, but at least you can see what he looks like if it's just pan up here, so you can see the rest of the robot, which is kind of leaning back a bit. And the reason it leans back, I do want to show you this now that I got it, one tank tread and one regular foot, is that the treaded version is shorter. Alright, just in case you want to know that. And the only reason there's a gap here is because I'm not pushing it in all the way. Again, not a big fan of wearing down paint. If I was to display it like that, I would just slap it on, but I will be displaying it with the regular feet. Although, now looking at it, kind of looks really cool with the tank tread, so who knows. But for now, he's going to stay like that. Alright guys, here's my best at trying to fit all three of them in the screen here. I got a very small display area. The table probably can't even handle the weight of these three figures, but at least you can see all the wonderful colors together. And yeah, very happy to have this, guys. I'm a bit relieved. Yeah, a bit relieved. You can see me sighing. It was a challenging project to get all three of them. I consider myself very lucky. But my final thoughts on the whole set: overall excellent, overall very expensive, and honestly one got progressively worse. Not as far as coolness, just finish wise. The Getter was pretty much perfect, and I had a couple of issues with Liger, not major ones, but this guy suffered the most with fingerprints all over the place that I have to buff out. They will not rub off. These guys are pretty much sold out everywhere. Your best bet is to hit BBTS, my favorite store. Obviously, you guys know that. And pick the trio up. There's going to be a link below if you want to pick them up. And if you have any questions or comments, guys, please, as usual, now that I can read comments normally instead of going to Google+, leave them below, and I will do my best to try and answer your questions or concerns. And till next time, guys, bye-bye.